Hey everyone, I'm going to show you a way that you can overclock your graphics card with a very simple, easy to use program. So let's just jump right into it. Hey everyone, I'm Jim with School's Tech Tips, and today we're going to take a look at a program that'll help you overclock your graphics card. In today's world, we're spending a lot of money on these things, so we should try to squeak out as much as we possibly can, get the best value for our dollar. Everything I'm using today is a free program. I'll go ahead and drop the links in the comment section down below so you can download it and use it on your own systems. The card I'm going to be doing some overclocking on today is the Nvidia 2080 Super. Just came out recently. Upgrade from the 2080, just under the 2080 Ti. Retail price on this card goes for $699. If you get the Founders Edition, the price goes up from there depending on which model you get. Here are the specs for the system I'll be using to do the overclock. We have an Asus Republic of Gamers Crosshair Hero 7 X470 motherboard. The processor is a Ryzen 7 2700X. We have 32 gigabytes of Corsair Vengeance RAM. And of course, the Nvidia 2080 Super Founders Edition. This is all packed in a Lee & Lee Dynamic 11 case, which if you're not familiar with, has glass on one side in the front and just venting on the back, top, bottom, and the opposite side of the glass. Your mileage may vary depending on the type of case that you have, as far as it affecting the temperatures and possibly throttling the card when you're doing the overclock. Let's take a look at the program we'll be using to overclock the graphics card. The program is from EVGA and is called Precision X1. I'll make sure to include the link down below. The program breaks it down into three sections: memory, GPU, and target. If you notice, as I hover my mouse over each section, a description pops up of what that section is. As well as down below, the section of the card that's being affected lights up as well. I'm going to test my adjustments that I make to the graphics card to make sure that it's stable by using Heaven, a synthetic benchmarking program. This is another free program, and I'll put the link down below as well. You're probably asking yourself, why don't I just load up a game and use real gameplay and check and see if it's stable that way? The problem with using real gameplay is it isn't consistent. With Heaven, it runs the same way, the same process, the same computations every time, regardless of what I adjust the graphics card to. My advice when you're starting off to do these adjustments, and if you're not comfortable, start with a low number, like with the memory section. I would start off at 200 and then go up in 25 increments. So 200, 225, 250, until you get to the point where in Heaven, the system will just lock up. The program will freeze and it'll crash. So at that point, you know, okay, I've gone too far, and go 2 steps back. So if you made it all the ways up to like 450, if you made it to 500, say, because that tends to be a pretty normal number. Go back to 450, because you know it's going to be stable at the 450. 475 might be questionable, so 450 you should be fine backing up. When making adjustments on the GPU section, I would start in 10 increments. So start at 10 and then slowly progress from there. I would do each one individually. So do your memory first or your GPU first and then do the other. So once you know you have a stable memory overclock, then move on to your GPU. That way you can tweak back on the memory if you need to as you're adjusting the GPU if the program locks up. I know the quality is not going to be great with this shot, but I wanted to offload everything that I was using on the computer so you can see exactly what happens when we start to run these benchmarks. Now the card itself is straight out of the box, nothing's changed, everything is at factory right now. Now if you notice, the CPU temperature went up and my usage is almost pinned at the 100%. And right now I just have the program running. I'm not running any benchmarks yet. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start a benchmark, get the numbers, and then I'll be right back. So we're right at the end of the benchmarking, and there's our temperature right now. It's 75°C. We have a cap of 84. It never really got close to that. It is now because it just went up another degree. But for the most part, it stayed in line. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and record the frames per second, which came in at 247.7. I'm going to record that. I'm going to put in the settings that I normally use on this card, and we're going to run it again just so you can see how much it improves from tweaking your settings. Here are my settings that I'll normally play with if I'm playing in regular HD or 1080p. I move the memory clock to 1300. I move my GPU up 85. The voltage, I slide all the way to the right, so it takes full advantage of any of the available millivolts that are roaming around in the card. The power levels are maxed out. If you remember, it was set at 100 on default. I'm asking for an extra 12%. That's something that is built within the card, so that's a safe setting to max out. CPU temp went from 84 to 88. The power and the CPU go hand in hand, so those are both okay to max all the ways to the right. I run a pretty aggressive fan curve at 90 because I play with my headphones on, so the sound of the fans ramping up don't bother me. But that's something that you'll have to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and run my benchmarks now, and we'll take a quick snapshot of that, and I'll come back with the numbers in a few moments. As you can see, we got some modest gains overclocking the 2080 Super when running at 1080p. The real benefit you're going to see with this card is in 1440p and 4K gaming. And if you want to see those numbers, go ahead and hit that like button, and I'll go ahead and do another video, and we'll show the actual true performance out of this card. Well, we've reached the end of the video. If you like what you saw here, go ahead and hit that like button for me. If this is your first time here, please subscribe. Helps the channel out a lot, and I'd appreciate it. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day.